Hey, this is Austin Harman. Welcome to my live stream. I am currently joining you from the Pin Group warehouse where I am working on a front of house rack for a new portable church that is launching in February. Super exciting stuff here. I'm just going to be working on this install, and you can ask me questions as we go along here. Let's see how this goes. If you like this, go ahead and leave me a comment. If you don't like this, hey, I'll never do it again. Promise not to ever waste your time. But yeah, this is the Pin Group warehouse, and let's get to it. So we have this front of house rack where I need to install these Sennheiser XS wireless in-ear monitor kits. And these wireless kits are cool because they're relatively cheap. They sound pretty good, and they're going to work really nicely for this portable church. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox this guy now. It's a very nice unit. Comes with quite a bit of things here. Nice little wireless pack, power adapter, the actual receiver, a whole bunch of documentation, and let's see. Bunch of other goodies, including rack ears, antennas, adapters galore, and headphones. Check those out. Sennheiser headphones, Sennheiser antenna, some little screws for the rack, a nice little metal plate here, and I think that is about it. My goodness, what a whole lot of stuff for a wireless unit here. How wild is that? Okay, I've got rack ears here for the wireless unit, wrapped nicely in paper. Smells like China, as it always does. Check these out. Interesting. So it looks like there's a double rack mount unit and a single rack mount unit here. These are going to be going in our Gator back of stage box. So we will check that out for sure. I'm going to kind of center the camera up here a little bit so you can see a little better as to what's going on. And we can go from there. Nice little rack ears here go inside. And we have our unit here. If you're just joining, we are doing a front of house build. Check out this all new Sennheiser XS wireless unit. So very cool stuff here. Very basic in the back, just some inputs and the antenna. Not much more to see. So I think this goes like this. It does. Okay, this goes in here like so. And this goes in here like so. We have the rack ears here, which go on like this. So pretty cool there. And all you have to do to put said rack gears on is you just have to take the little screw out of the side here. So we're going to do so now. If you're just joining, welcome to the party. We are putting on rack gears on some wireless units. How exciting for a Sunday afternoon. If you have a question about the process, you can leave me a comment in the chat, and I'd like to answer that question for you. We have a rack ear and the wireless here. So I'm just lining these guys up. And going to put that in. It's a little tough to show you on camera here, but they're very small screws, nicely anodized with a nice texture here. So, keep dropping things. Welcome to the unfiltered, uncut install of Austin Harman Mixes with the Pin Group here. We're doing quality work here on a Sunday afternoon, which is fantastic. Thank you for joining. If you're just tuning in, we are building out this rack unit behind me. As you can see, this is a stage box just over my shoulder, and the front of house set up over to the right. We've got quite a bit of ways to go here, so thanks for joining the live stream with me as we work through this. There we go. We have one side of that rack applied, and that's going to go inside of here like so, and it's going to work out really nicely. But we also want to make sure that the other one will fit nicely beside it. This is what the little pack that the band member is going to get. That's what they have, and then it also comes with some nice headphones, and all in for about, I think, $700, which for in-ear monitors is not terribly expensive these days. It is a lot of money for most people, yes, including me. That's a lot, but it's not so horribly expensive that you can't do it. So now there is a special way to set these up where you can actually have a double unit across, or a double unit, and rack two of these together. And I have not done this in a minute, so I've got to figure out how to actually do that. I think it's relatively simple, but let's see. So I'm going to pop open another. This is what they look like, all brand new. Thank you for the two of you who are watching at this point in the stream. I appreciate that a lot. If you have a question, thank you. Tanya, I see your comment there. Thanks for the support. It's a very lonely time in the warehouse this afternoon on Sunday, but if you're interested in all things pin, this is what we do now. We live stream our our work on a Sunday afternoon. Good times. So this is the second wireless unit, and they will go together like so. And then this side will also, or not this one will get the other rack, which is great. So we will go here and take out the screws on this side and put this new rack unit on. So where did I go with my screwdriver? Here it is, just off the camera. And cool. I probably should play some music for said live stream because it would make it a little bit less dry to listen to me give you the play-by-play on what I'm doing. But hey, I'm not a professional live streamer. I'm a YouTuber somehow because people seem to watch what I put out for some reason. So Still have not quite figured out why, but they do. And I took the screws out of the wrong side, so we're gonna fix that. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Hope everybody's having a good day. We have one person who is still attending said live stream, so thanks for sticking around, whoever you are out there. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. The Pen Group warehouse is very interesting place to work because it's very reverby, which probably, I'd imagine, makes the audio sound a little bit tough, but still fun nonetheless. And I don't know how to actually link these together, so we're going to learn this in real time by looking at the dreaded owner's manual as my foot falls asleep. Oh. And let's see what the owner's manual says about putting together this wireless system. Look at all of these steps. Aha, that is how you do it. So you take the screws from here and you're supposed to put that little metal piece across. So I knew that you could do that, and that's what we're going to do now. Another person has joined. Thank you so much for joining the Austin Harman Mixes live stream as we're putting together a front of house rack for a portable church using all kinds of exciting gear. I'm working just off camera here for a second, putting a few pieces together, but I will be returning back to the full screen here just as soon as I put these two pieces together. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I have a bunch of wireless in-ear packs that I need to put into this stage rack. So very exciting times. Very exciting times indeed. If you'd like to support the Austin Harman Mixes channel and what we have going on here, you can go to austinharmanmixes.com and order some merch. Earlier, I was wearing my Austin Harman Mixes hat, but now it got hot in the warehouse here, so I decided to take that off. And now I recognize that I probably should have kept it on because my hair is, well, it's something. So good times. Happy Sunday. I hope all of you are having a great day. If you have a question or you have a comment, leave that in the chat. I'd love to address said questions or comments and make this working session here that I'm doing interactive. And I appreciate that a lot. Appreciate that a lot. For those two of you who are watching, thank you for joining. And if you're seeing this in the future, I hope that you enjoy this. I have to concentrate because I cannot screw these screws in. It's great. The warehouse is fantastic. Good question. It is interesting because it is on the flight approach path for John Glenn International Airport, which is the local Columbus airport here. And therefore, about every 10 minutes, it feels like the building's going to explode because the airplanes fly really low here. And makes it very exciting. Sometimes I have to run to the door to figure out what's flying over because it's so loud. And yeah, it's good. We have quite a bit of space, which is also good for projects like this, where we're doing a build out for portable church. It was very challenging to do work like this on site. And for this specific client of ours, they launch next Sunday. So we need to be game day ready to go on Sunday, being able to pull right up with their gear ready to go. So this is where having the shop is really handy. You're only seeing a small part of it on camera. Um, just off here to the right is actually some workstations where we will be using said workstations to manufacture Austin Harman design speakers um, in the coming months here as we work towards the goal of building and manufacturing speakers here in the US. Down over this way in the warehouse is a bunch of rack units where I have stored all of my all of the stuff coming in and out. We have a drum shield down there. We had a projector and a bunch of other stuff in here earlier. And I'll just turn the camera down so you can look at it in real time. It's pretty sizable in here. We've got a lot of space, and it makes it somewhat cool because being given how far we've come with the company and over the last 5 years building it to this point, it's just incredible to be at this point and to be able to sit in my own warehouse and have to pay the rent, which is harder than it sounds. So yeah, it's good. Thanks for asking. That's a great question. And I just rambled for probably 7 more minutes than you wanted to hear, but it's good content. Like and subscribe. So I've got this last screw I'm trying to put into this wireless unit here, and it's giving me the fits. But this is how it's supposed to look all together. These two go together in that rack. And this little itty bitty screw has to go in this little itty bitty hole, which is challenging. So let's see if I can make this happen. And I realized that this is probably not exceptionally great content, watching me struggle to put things together, but that's what you signed up for when you clicked on this live stream. So hopefully you are enjoying that. All right, there we go. This unit is now put together, and my leg is thoroughly asleep from sitting like this. But here is 2 wireless Sennheiser units. Now that will go into this Gator stage rack here. And just outside of the shot here, I'm going to bend this down. We have a Allen and Heath AR2412 audio rack system. And this allows us to connect via category 6 to a SQ desk sitting in front of house, which is already unpacked sitting on this big rack next to me. Also going in here will be a few other goodies, but we are going to leave a couple of spaces and then mount this just above where we're at now. So I'm going to leave what's called 4U, or 4 rack units of space, so that we can more easily move things around if needed, which will be good. By the way, one more note on the warehouse. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes here. Oh, shoot. One more note on the warehouse is that this warehouse space we're actually in right now is temporary, and we'll be moving into our permanent warehouse next month because the landlord didn't actually have our space available like they said they would on the day. So I had about 3,000 pounds of acoustic treatment sitting in my house, and I needed to get it out as soon as possible because it was causing all kinds of glorious challenges. And I just realized those are not the right rack screws, so that's not going to work. But anyway, it was causing all kinds of challenges, and I ended up having to say to the landlord, say, look, I'm pretty desperate. I need you to get me a space here. And he said, well, the unit that's next to the one that you were going to get is still available. And if you want to get that one now, we can do that. So that's what I did. I went ahead and got it just off frame here from the camera where you can't see. there is a hallway in the future space, and that hallway will lead to the future office space, which will house several of my team members as well as our intern, and some space where we'll be able to show off products, including the Austin Harman Design speakers. So very cool, very exciting time in life. Really good stuff. And here's my gigantic bag of rack screws that I have. So just going to get these set up really quick. There's a little flange that these go into, and what all goes into speaker designing? This is like pain trying to do this with your fingers. Anyway, honestly, speaker designing is very challenging. There's a lot of different nuances and things that you have to consider when designing speakers. The thing that makes Austin Harman Design special specifically is, one, my last name is Harman, which is great. And that is a copyright issue. So I'm going to have to actually rename Austin Harman Designs, which is terrible. But that is just one small part of the conversation and thought. You have to think about a lot of things. Like, if you consider the logistical challenges of making something in today's market, you have to consider where things are coming from. You have to think about whether or not those things are safe, because it is your responsibility as a product developer to make sure that things are safe. And as I struggle with my thing here, so that is all like the executive aspect of it, or the strategic aspect of it, which is, what is it going to take to actually make something and bring it to market. Then you have to do all of that groundwork to make sure that the products that you're going to bring to the market are safe, that you're going to be able to get the components to be able to build them. Then you have to figure out how to build them. And then you have to settle in on the design that's actually possible to build. And at that point, once you've done all of that work and you've got something you think is good enough to sell to the market, then you have to get it into the market and pray to God that it sells. Because just because you build something doesn't necessarily mean people want it, even if you have a compelling proposition for the product. So the short answer is a lot, and that's not even the cool stuff like moving tweeters around and designing high excursion woofers and all of the nuances that go with creating speakers. And I've been working on it for over 2 years now. And as I announced on the Austin Harman Mixes podcast, which for all two of you listening to this, make sure that you go out there and subscribe to said podcast. I'm going to be launching the speakers in June at a conference called Infocom in Las Vegas, Nevada, which I've been to quite often. And for those of you who know me out there, that probably made you giggle. And if you don't know me, I like Vegas, and I've been there quite a bit. So if you're in Las Vegas and you want to meet, do let me know. I would love to meet you. Any name ideas? Yes, a few. The problem with Austin Harman Designs is that Harman, my last name, is trademarked by Harman International, which is a very large company that is actually owned by Samsung, of all things. It used to be a publicly traded U.S.-owned company, and now it is this is not wanting to go in. Now it is owned by Samsung, which is nice. So Harman owns that trademark. That's one of the reasons why I couldn't call the pin group Austin Harman installs or some crap like that. And quite honestly, I don't really like the fact that my name is all over it in the first place. It kind of feels a little bit vain, and I'm not really that kind of person. But I had to call it something. And whenever you think about building a company and you think about building something that is going to last beyond you, you want to leave a legacy in life. And I wanted my legacy to be this company, and I want my kids and grandkids to be able to operate and activate this company years down the line. So, and there's short of it. The short is I don't actually have name ideas beyond like where I'm at now. This screw is not working. I will most probably call it Pin Audio to continue along with the Pin group and some of the other Pin branded things. I do have to make sure that that's not trademarked and copyrighted. There's all kinds of different things. I better decide quick though, because I'm not gonna. Which name did you like? You like Pin Audio or which one? Anyway, I better decide quick because I'm going to be building our what we would call a Golden Master prototype, which is basically a manufacturer-ready speaker. As soon as my final equipment gets here from several of the places that it's coming from. So the name will be fully decided. The website will be finished, and we're T-minus 4 months away from being able to fully launch Austin Harman Designs or Pin Audio or whatever it's going to be at InfoComm Las Vegas. So if you're interested, by the way, in going to InfoComm, I do have a discount code that will allow you free admission to the show. All you have to do is just send me an email at sales@thepin.group, and I can actually get you free admission to InfoComm. Man, these things are just not having it. I can get you free admission to InfoComm. But anyway, so hope you're enjoying this, watching me struggle with this is basically like a live podcast. I live in the UK. Do I ship to the I can't read the last part of your message. The short answer is yes, I will ship. I presume that you mean Austin Harman Designs. And hang on a second. Just pausing the live stream here so I can write a message. Okay. Do I ship to the UK? I can't read the full message here. I assume that you mean the speakers, Austin Harman Designs, Pin Audio, whatever the heck we're calling it. Yes, I will be shipping those to the UK. I will actually be shipping around the world. There is some nuances with actually shipping and selling products to the European market. They have to go through a certification process and stuff. So I have to hire consultants that are more familiar with that kind of thing and spend millions and millions of dollars, not actually, but a lot of stuff to make that happen. But yes, we will be selling the speakers in the UK. Yes, I can technically ship American-made speakers to the UK, or if you also want Austin Harman Mixes merch, I can also ship that to the UK. It's just, once you start trying to do that at scale, you invite a lot of scrutiny from regulatory bodies and stuff. And that's the long and short of it. Is it's not going to be an immediate thing, but if it's just a one-off thing, I definitely would be able to do that for you. By the way, Ethan, if you want to register your email, austinharmondesigns.com, you can keep up with me, and I'll make sure that you'll be one of the first people to get the speakers out there. So thanks for your support. And this screw is not going in this rack, which makes this very, very challenging. So good times. You bet, man. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the content. And thanks for joining from the UK. I don't even know what time it is. It's almost 5 o'clock Eastern here at this time of recording. It's probably close to midnight or something in the UK, right? Dang it. This rack is so difficult. I don't know what is going on, but I'm just roasting all of my screws. So I am going to go with something different because this is not working. But the cool thing is that with these first screws in and it's together here, I can tighten them down and now we have a fully realized in-ear rack system here. And what's going to be in this for you pass-through space will be a cable pass-through. So we'll be able to take the line outputs from the Allen and Heath remote here and run them into the back of the into the wireless units, which will be really nice. And for those of you who are just joining, thank you. 2144. I have to think really hard about what time that actually is. I think that's, let's see, 24 hours. That would be 12 minus 3. So it's what, 9:44 there in the UK? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a math guy. I've never been a math guy. This is what my brain does. 9:44. Hey, I was right. This is what my brain does is doing things like putting together audio systems for portable churches. If you're just joining, thanks for joining. We have people from all over the world tuning in to the live stream. If you have a question or want me to talk about something specifically, I would love to answer your question. You're making this process of putting together this stage box significantly more fun. If you would like to order gear and need something for your event space, church, whatever it is, you can email me, sales@thepin.group. We have all the deals on all of the things. Thanks for that like. I appreciate that a lot. Whoever hit that button, that helps my channel grow a lot. So I appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying this live stream and hope that you find this entertaining. There is so much paperwork that comes in these Sennheiser boxes here. It's crazy. So they even come with batteries. And these last longer than most other batteries, which is crazy. More and more things in the boxes we have here. And we have the trusty plate. We have an American adapter here, in-ear monitor, receiver, and this little guy that I needed earlier. It's really nice. It's like anodized aluminum or something like that. So very cool stuff. So people are starting to drop off. Hopefully some more people jump on at this point. So much appreciated for those of you who have joined over the last 30 minutes. I sincerely appreciate it a lot. Leave me a comment if you're tuned in. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're just going to keep on building out rack units. So more and more boxes and boxes and boxes and things. Thank you so much for those of you who are joining on this fine Sunday. We are building out a front of house rack. If you have a question along this journey, do leave me a comment in the chat. I'd love to address that question and talk to you about the things that are going on in my life and in this crazy world that we're living in. So here we have a receiver unit, same process as before. We have a secondary receiver unit. We want to link these together to make one of these. These are wireless in-ear monitor receivers for a band. So we're going to certainly get a lot of use out of these. If you missed it, the purpose of this is for a portable church. I see many of you are joining anew. If you have a question, please do leave me a comment. I love hearing from you and talking with you. You can see in the chat that I've been answering comments throughout this entire stream, so keep them coming. It keeps me from having to talk to myself or talk to my imaginary friend Casper. So good times. Good times indeed. Uh-oh. These little screws that come with this little set are so difficult because they're so easy to lose. They're like really tiny. Those little itty bitty screws. It's crazy. So for those of you who are on the live stream, leave me a comment on where you're joining from. I would love to talk with you. We have people from all over the world joining us, which is super cool. A great question in the chat. Biggest headache as a business owner this week? Great question. Being a business owner does have a lot of, I should do a podcast about this actually, but being a business owner does have a lot of perks, but it also has a lot of headaches. One of the biggest headaches about being a business owner, and specifically this week for me, is just keeping up with my obligations. If I say I'm going to do something, I have to do it. And that's a lot harder than it sounds. On the sales side, it's really easy to be like, yeah, we'll put together a projector, and then you get on site and it's a 30-foot ceiling, and now you need a lift, and now you need this, and now you need that. And that's part of it, right? Like, to be in the install business, we deal with that all the time. But this week specifically has had a lot of, I would say, outsized whammies where we've just, like, I messed up and ordered the wrong speakers. So I've got, I don't know, really a lot of money. I don't even want to say on the record here, a lot of money worth of mess up over just off frame here in high quality speakers because I ordered the wrong model from our dealer relationship there. So that was a big headache because then now it's coming out of my pocket to fix that problem that I created because I ordered it. And, humans aren't perfect and entrepreneurs are definitely not perfect. And, that's a big headache. I'm very thankful to have had the, I would say, the cushion to be able to fix that problem. But definitely a challenge to be sure. All right, questions rolling in. Did I get any certifications or did I learn over time? Great question. I have no production certifications. Believe it or not, I've actually been doing production longer than anything else in my life. And I don't have any formal production training outside of just learning from various people who are way more talented than me. I would say that I don't do anything dangerous on purpose. because I don't have like formalized certifications. It is something we are pursuing. Anybody who wants to hang things and wants to work for me, they have to have certifications. We have engineers sign off on everything we put overhead because we don't want to screw around with anything like that. But as far as general certifications, no, all learned over the years. Spent a lot of time at church. Spent a lot of time doing gigs, theater, event spaces, so on and so forth. Bad coffee shop gigs, believe it or not, just all kinds of various things. So, great question. I have followed you so much online, one church love, and I can always tell when you are mixing because the live stream sounds always incredible. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that a lot. Um, I do have a very unique mixing style, and because of that, I do think people can tell because first of all, I like to rock and roll, and B, I've been fortuitous to have been doing audio for so long at this point that um, I've been able to, create a trademark sound. So I appreciate that. I did mix last week, one church's live stream last week, and we did the song "Gratitude" by Brandon Lake, and it's really good. I really like it a lot. I've been listening to it for what I call for pleasure rather than critiquing myself. And I find myself doing that more these days. So, Ethan, how did you get connected with One Church? And thank you for sharing that comment. That really means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. And Tanya, thank you for keeping the conversation going. I did get this one together off camera, by the way, for those of you who are here to watch me struggle with these things. Yeah, um, good times. And then I don't know how to say your name and pontification. I don't want to say that out loud. That sounds like it's going to get me blacklisted or something. Do you have any certifications? So, yeah, free production work. Absolutely. Tony and the Austin Harman Mixes podcast producer over here. See that? So good times. um, who wrapped these things, man? Come on. So thank you all for joining. It looks like we've got 3 people tuned in right now. So thank you for that. I know that some people have been jumping in and jumping off. Thanks for spending an hour of your time with me and sticking with me as we're doing this rack build out. It's taken me a lot longer to do this little in-ear installation in this rack than I expected, but hey, that's okay. We're getting there, and these are the rack ears that go on. So once these are connected, they just go on like this, and you have to remove the 2 screws on the side. So, by the way, there's a little hole in the wall pizza restaurant just up the way from the warehouse here. And currently, the warehouse doesn't have a restroom because we don't have access to our office space yet. And because of that, I have frequented said pizza restaurant. And it not only has great pizzas, it has great restrooms. Good times. Ethan, probably through the Holy Spirit, I came across my YouTube page when I was learning how to mix, and then I got to figure you mix at One Church and started watching every Sunday. Wow, what a story that is. Ethan, do you have you connected with One Church at all? That's incredible. I'm going to share that story with the One Church team so that they can reach out to you. Thank you for that comment. That's huge, man. I'm just going to share this in real time right now with the One Church people so that they can reach out to you. And you got to let me know, send me an email and let me know if they reach out to you. That is wild, wild, wild. Okay, I have no certs. I've been running through sound for various things, mostly church, since 2005. That's awesome. That's about how long I've been mixing too, since around 2005-ish. One of the people who was making some comments on the podcast earlier, I actually met that person in 2006 time frame, also doing production, and all these years later, we still talk and still discuss production. Imagine that. Production's a small world. So, wow. Ethan, thanks for sharing that story about One Church. I can't believe that my YouTube videos were the reason why you were able to connect with One Church. That's unbelievable. And also gives me a lot of gratitude for being able to share this content, and to very humbled to be a part of One Church and everything that One Church is doing. And my role has diminished there quite a bit over the years. At one point in time, I was involved in a lot, and it's part of your last name. It's pronounced Pontific. I sorry, buddy, I can't say it. I'm sure it's lovely though. Sorry, man. I'm not a linguist, but anyway, back to what I was saying about One Church. I used to be a lot more involved in that, in One Church and everything that I was doing there. And, I believe that the Holy Spirit really led me to One Church. I ended up there by the power of the Holy Spirit, in my opinion. And I have met most of my friends and community network otherwise through One Church here in Ohio. And I was actually an Oklahoma guy for a long, long time, and came to Ohio and didn't know anybody here. Wow, look at that. We're starting to look like a stage rack. How about that? Leave a comment if you like what you're seeing here so far. Much appreciated, and great to talk with all of you and address your comments. Thank you for participating on this fine Sunday afternoon. 16 more to go. Actually, so we ordered 6, so there's 2 more here. And then the pastor of this specific church wants to order 2 more. So we will have a couple of more coming. But as of now, it'll only be 6. And for whatever reason, these racks, this is a Gator rack. The rack rails are super hard to put screws into. So I'm glad I'm not stripping these rack screws, but man, they are tight. So, all right, keep the questions coming. I feel like this is happy hour with Austin right now on Sunday afternoon. So thanks for providing your own free entertainment, listening to me babble to an empty room plus a camera. So also, I have somehow managed to get my feet on, I guess, what do you call it? They were asleep, and now they are not asleep. Do you call that not asleep? What do you call that? Awake? Anyway, whatever. Good times. Taking a quick break here. So, Ethan, I shared what you shared about coming to One Church with due to my channel with my wife, and she said, wow, that's incredible. And it really is. Thank you for sharing that. Talk about Ohio. Ohio. Fun fact, for those of you out there listening, I will be in Oklahoma for an entire week in a few weeks, and I may be doing a install in a school there. So that is fun. Ohio is very interesting. When I first moved here, I found it to be very different than Oklahoma for a lot of reasons. The obvious one being that Ohio is bloody cold, like really cold, and Oklahoma is not as cold. But more shockingly, the big challenge with Ohio was actually the rain. It rains here a ton in Ohio. If you look at the climatology data, because I'm a nerd like that, and look at those kind of things, Ohio rains 100 more days a year than Oklahoma. 100 more days. And because of that, I do not know what's going on with these racks, but they are super hard to screw in. Because of that, it's very common to get seasonal blues in Ohio. Right now, this time of year specifically, it's very, very common to have seasonal blues. So most commonly, you will see a lot of people taking vacation to various places like Cancun or to somewhere more Miami or whatever it is. Hotel rates explode in Miami around this time, not just because of Ohio, but because of East Coasters in general, because of the weather. Ohio itself is interesting. It's about, I don't know, 12 million people or so. So it's a decently populated state. Columbus, specifically where I live, is the 23rd largest metropolitan area in Ohio. It's also the state government seat. So the state government, state house, is it is here in the city. And with that, I do actually have some very close and dear friends in the city who work for the state government at a high level, which is pretty cool. I have met, just by the grace of God, I've met the governor of Ohio. I've been to his house. I was at his inauguration this year. And that's not a political statement as much as it is just a recognition of the blessings of what can happen if you're faithful. But man, this thing is hard. You guys see me on camera struggling with this thing. What the heck? Okay. Let's see. Just an exceptional question. Do you prefer Bethel sound or Elevation Church sound? I like to rock. I definitely prefer Elevation. No slight against Bethel. I think Bethel does cool stuff. I think that their approach is archaic, in my opinion, just because they tend to prefer running things in a way that's I would just classify it as old church mentality. It's 87 dB running strong, whereas Elevation's 105 plus. And loudness aside, I think I'm more inclined to be aligned with Elevation's school of thought rather than Bethel's. But again, they're both incredible churches doing incredible things in the community. So that aside, you asked about the sound. I do prefer Elevation sound. Next question. I'm helping theater group in various areas. They use scenes heavily and have 25 headsets. I actually mixed a 40-channel musical. It was called Grease the Musical. When I was in high school, it's the biggest show I ever did, and it was on an analog desk that was so big that 3 people could comfortably sit in front of it. And I mixed that show on an analog desk, 40 channels, all headsets, all Omni, and man, they ring till Jesus came back. And it was a very challenging gig and very fun, to say the least. So cool stuff there. Do I have any recommendations as far as gear? Yes. Why don't you send me an email, buddy? sales@thepin.group. I'm going to write that in the chat. Just send me an email and we'll take this one offline because I got to know like what you already have and all of that stuff. And I don't want to lead you. I don't want to lead you down astray on something if you've already got it or whatever. So I just try my best not to sell people things they don't need. So, all right. Yeah, they're having some problems. I don't know much about the theater. Okay, thanks, buddy. Tanya says, how does the weather affect how you work weatherproofing your warehouse? Yes. I do have to pay for a climate controlled warehouse because otherwise it would be very, very challenging to build and manufacture the speakers here because they're made out of wood. And if it's 10 or 20 degrees outside and the wood is this big and it warms up to 100 and the wood expands to this, all of them would be totally ruined. So that's just a small insight into some of the challenges of making speakers and dealing with tolerances and all kinds of things like that. But yes, I do have to deal with that. Also, warehouse space in general in Ohio is very expensive because the old adage with land goes is they ain't making more of it. So there's an ever increasing demand to get land, to get space, to have the space to be able to do business. So even just for my small warehouse space, I'm paying a very significant amount just to be able to have this space to do the business. And that's part of the reason why I didn't have warehouse space for a long time and operated out of my primary residence, is because it saved me a very significant amount of money. And when you're trying to run a business, that matters. So that's just a small insight into that. Good question. Do I prefer running broadcasts on a mix? I've been getting this question a lot. I've answered this question like 4 times in the past 2 days. If you had one on a digital mixer for front of house and live broadcast mix. So this is a funny story, especially Ethan, because of your connection to One Church. Ethan, when did you start watching One Church? What year? Screw bags are terrible. I'll wait for your response before I answer you. I don't know how long the delay is in my talking versus you hearing it, so I think it's relatively short, but well, to answer your question, I won't belabor this, but I actually, so when we originally did the One Church remodel, so for context, when I first showed up in Ohio, I started attending One Church. Okay, last year, when he took out, tour on the mixing broadcast room. Sweet. So prior to that broadcast room, Ethan being installed, which the Penn Group, my company, installed that, which is cool history. That whole room, designed and installed it. Prior to that installation, I actually was the regular front of house guy at One Church. And if you look back on my channel at some of the really old videos of me mixing front of house, you'll hear me actually mixing out at the box front of house. Now, we were still live streaming at that time, but the live stream was taken from my front of house mix. So even at the size of One Church, which at the time was well into the thousands attendance wise, we were taking my front of house mix as the broadcast mix. And for all intents and purposes, it worked pretty well. I mean, it sounded pretty cool. It wasn't exceptional by any means, but it was okay. So to answer your question, going back originally, prefer broadcast mix on an aux or matrix. I prefer to do a matrix broadcast mix and take my front of house mix rather than, yeah, I know which video you're talking about. That's a good video. I'd rather take a matrix and route my stereo front of house mix to it than try to submix off of a mix bus or something along those lines, just because it's difficult, if not impossible, to get the stream to sound cool while simultaneously worrying about front of house. It's just not practical, and that's why I prefer to do it, prefer to take my stereo mix, and that just helps a lot. So hopefully that answers your question. Also, I've somehow run out of, I have all these boxes everywhere, all of these things, and I don't have the other one of these next to me. So I don't know if it's what I did with it. So quick pause while I run off stream here to find it. Okay, I don't know where it's at. So what did I do? I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it here? Nope. Okay, well, for all of you watching, and hopefully you're judging me thoroughly here as I try to track down the last one of these here. Did I just leave it in the box? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where the heck did I put it? Oh, you know what? I think that I wasn't actually shipped all 6 of my in-ears, and I'm actually missing a couple of them. So I will have to figure that out. But that is unfortunate to say the least, because I need those before next week. If you are just joining us, or if you've been with us this whole time, do like and subscribe. Thank you for staying with me throughout this hour-long session as we build a front of house stage rack and I answer your questions. If you want me to do more of these in the future, I definitely will, because I do enjoy this. I will probably actually record my next podcast in a live stream format like this, just because I think it's interesting to be able to talk with you and engage with you. So I am running out of things I'm able to do here, so I'm probably going to end the stream soon. So if you do want to jump in and ask some final questions, please go ahead and do that, and I will try to get to them before I jump off. For the 5 of you who are on the stream right now, thanks for the likes. Thanks for joining. This has been a really fun session doing this, and I appreciate that a lot. Good times. Can't wait to watch a video where you have a playback multi-track and mix from start to end on YouTube. You know, Ethan, that is coming. I am actually anticipating doing that exact thing after I finish the Fundamentals of Audio series. If you haven't caught the beginning part of the Fundamentals of Audio series, right now it's been all like ultra beginner stuff, like what is a speaker? That is actually going to end up being around 60 videos. And when that 60 video series is done, I'm going to start doing live events where I go around and actually hold one-day mini conferences where we'll have a killer band and have everybody show up. And I'm going to walk through literally from nothing to something, how to do a mix and how to make it sound cool. And that will be live and in person. We'll be recording that too. So it will probably be later this year when that happens. If that's something that you kind of feel like, man, I'd really like to attend something like that, or I'd really like to participate. If you go to my website, austinharmanmixes.com, which I will put that in the chat, you can actually sign up for the event, and you will receive email communications from me about, and my team, as we kind of gear up for those live events later this year. And we can make sure that you're informed when those things happen. Sound good? There's some kind of latency with the comments and me talking, so I assume that you heard what I had to say there. But anyway, Cool. Awesome. That'll be easier. Sometimes YouTube don't always pop up. Yeah. That's annoying part about YouTube. I probably will get blacklisted from the algorithm for saying that or something. But if you do want to always be notified when I post, if you go to my channel, hit the subscribe, and you click on that notification bell, it'll send you notifications when I upload. And that's probably the best way to be able to keep track of my uploads and to watch the videos as they come. So, all right. Any other questions? I'm about to round out this live stream here. Thank you for everybody who's joined. This is our rack at this point. Gives you some idea of how much time these things actually take to put together. So very much appreciative of you joining in along this cool journey of being able to do that. Any other things out there for the 6 of you who are joining? Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it a lot. And have a great Sunday. You bet, guys. Just as a little quick treat bonus for you, I'm going to take you on a quick tour of the shop so you can actually see this. I'm live streaming from my Mac, so it's going to be a little strange to do. So this is my front of house station. We've got a workstation over there where we have some speakers set up, and then we have a hotel air conditioner, my pseudo sound treatment here, and we have some workstations here where we have all of our gear set up, and then down over there we have storage space. This whole warehouse will be full of gear and equipment as we gear up to manufacture these speakers. So very much appreciative of all of you joining on this live stream. If you'd like to order gear or would like to continue the conversation further, just send me an email, sales@thepin.group. I will put that in the chat, and would love to connect with you soon. Jose, thank you. I love doing videos, and I do it for people just like you. So. All right, I'm signing off here. So if you guys need anything, send me a note on Instagram, send me an email. I'll get back with you. Thanks for joining, and have a great day.